We need to find this place or we'll be late.
Make a left on Astrology Avenue. Oh, I'm sorry, I meant right. It should be right here at 444 Spirit Way. Oh, turn!
It looks like Renee. Yay, we're on time.
The James and Kellee Show.
Great, let's start the show.
Hi, honey.
8-8 Lionsgate.
It's the Lionsgate. Hey, it's such an amazingly powerful day today.
Yeah, I knew. Yeah, I mean, wow. First of all, thank you for sending me your chapter. I just started reading it.
Oh, thank you for doing all the editing.
I've been writing a book for a little bit.
Been writing a book, and James is editing it.
It's not an easy thing to do. So
no, it's not. But I manifested it.
You did a great
I
job.
worked my ass off.
Yeah. So, how are you?
I've been busy. I've had the grandbabies here, and I'm going to tell you what. You know, I was as tired as you will be with the two puppies. Same difference. Same difference. Oh my gosh, it's having a 5.5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old around is a lot. Wow. But it's so fun, and you have to be on your toes. I use muscles that I didn't know I had, actually. You know, that kind of quick kind of turn. I don't know how I do it. I don't know how I did it when I was younger, and I certainly don't know how I'm doing it now. But it's a lot of fun.
Great.
Thank you.
You look great.
Thank you.
And according to the bird that whispered in my ear, your blood is perfect.
Oh, it is so perfect. Yes, yes.
Heard your blood is perfect.
I did. Yep. I had a lot of blood work done. Everything is great. So I couldn't be happier.
Is it from that stomach thing you're on? What do you call it? The kylo?
Oh no, it's called Viome. Viome with a V.
And you're still doing it.
I'm still doing it. Yeah.
Wow.
Really made a difference. Yeah.
It did.
It did make a difference. Oh my gosh. Well, geez, we should say hi to people. We've got a lot of people from all over here. From Draycut. Where's Draycut? Have you ever heard of that?
Never heard of that. Linda Spear. Remember you? Hi, Linda. Hi, Karen. Cindy.
New Zealand. Hi, Kura from New Zealand. Wow. Oh, Kim Ann says, James, she loves the new Soul Care intro.
Thank you. With Pearl and Minnie. And now we're going to do an outro because we forgot to do the outro. So we're going to come out with an outro now. So I'm trying to think of how to do the outro.
Oh, my gosh. That's hysterical.
Jody. Yay.
Hi, Arkansas.
Hi, Kellee and James. Glad to see you both. I did two little ones like that, Kellee, when I was 19 years old.
Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. That's a lot.
It's a lot. Joan Peters from Michigan.
Oh, hi there. Luciana from Brazil. Hi there.
Oh, muito obrigado. Hello from Wisconsin, Melissa Bolter.
Well, hello there. Hi there, everybody.
New Hampshire, Eastchester.
Hi, Lori Counts. Hi, honey. Oh, gosh.
And Kellee, a lot of people from your show, your workshops or your shows are also coming to Soul Care and vice versa. So thank you for.
Oh, I'm so glad. This is so great. Wow.
Kellee and I work in circles.
Yeah. Hi, Judy Friedman. Hi, honey.
Hi, Judy Friedman.
Oh my gosh. It's fun to see everybody's name, isn't it?
Thousand Oaks, Sherry. Thousand Oaks. Your old stopping grounds.
My old stopping grounds. Yes. North Texas. Hi there. Texas in the house. Okay. Oh, this is so sweet.
Yes, Karen wants to know more about Lionsgate, and so do I, Kellee.
Okay, so let's talk about Lionsgate because today is a really important important day in this very challenging month, okay? But today is a really special day, and it's not too late, everybody. I want everybody to understand what the Lionsgate is exactly. So first, let me talk about that. So the Lionsgate portal, it opens every year on August 8th, and it's when the sun, which is in, okay, now I'm going to be talking Western astrology, the sun in Leo, the star Sirius, and Orion's belt, and Earth all line up. And when they all line up, they create this really powerful portal of energy. And what makes it important is it's an energy for manifesting. But today is really important because today on August 8th, 2022, it is actually a 22 day, which is amazing because 22 is the number for manifesting. And you put that with the Lionsgate, it means this. What do you want to build? What do you want to create? Because this is a really special energy of manifestation, and it brings abundance, it brings wealth. And today's the day it's not too late. Today you want to meditate, you want to say your affirmations, and you really want to set your intentions, because Sirius is the brightest star in our night sky. And mystics actually believe that this today brings extra energy and light to it. And I can feel it. James, can you feel that?
Wow, all day.
All day, right? You can feel this special energy.
Yeah, there's not a pulling, but there's definitely there's a pulling. I don't know what else to describe it. And I read somewhere today, Kelly, that was really interesting. I've never heard this before in Lionsgate, and I've known Lionsgate for a long time, that the Leo in the constellation, the nose of Leo, the lion, is looking at the dog star Sirius. Is looking at the eyes of the dog star, that Sirius.
I love it.
Isn't that kind of cool?
I think that's so cool. Now, I have to say, Kim Ann Snodgrass, you sent me a question early today, and it was really a great question. And she said, we're all sad today because Olivia Newton-John passed away. And you knew her, James.
I met her. I met her a couple of times in the show Grease. I was working on Grease, and when she did the movie, she came back to the Broadway show. We all had a big party there, and she was so sweet and gentle and loving. And she, my friend of mine worked at her store Koala Blue in LA when she had that
on Melrose, I think it was.
Melrose. Yeah. Nice lady. Yeah. And she had cancer for a long time, breast cancer. It came back in 2017. And she's done so much work with foundations and associations and I remember there was an interview of 60 Minutes 60 Minutes. And she was just so wonderful how she said, when it's my time, but I've been the best I can she was just so gentle and lovely.
Well, I think it's so fascinating that she would pass on the Lionsgate. And so I did a little research into her astrology chart. And in Vedic astrology, her rising is Leo. And you notice with the hair, she had that beautiful hair.
Yes.
And Leo rising. And today
what's her sun sign in the Vedic or the West?
Well, it would have been Virgo, actually. Her birthday was September 26th. So if I go by Vedic astrology, she would have been a Virgo. And she had a moon, James, in Cancer, not unlike somebody that you're looking at.
That's right. Moon in Cancer. That's right.
Yeah. It was so interesting to me. I liked her so much. I never met her, but I really, really
but
enjoyed her.
Saying, Kelly, this is a major transformational time, not only Lionsgate, but this whole month. And we're going to see people just keep.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of things.
Waves. It's
big waves. Absolutely, we're going to see waves of things. But what's amazing is, remember this, everybody, because you asked me last week, James, what is good about this energy? And I'm going to tell you, I really thought about that question. And really, what's good about it is you can ride that wave of energy. You do not have to get bombarded. Yeah, we'll get bombarded with energy, but you can still hurdle it, go through it, and you're here on this earth to do many things, and one of them is to be able to be the master of energy. This month will make you a master of energy.
Exactly right. It's like riding the waves, like surfing.
Woo-hoo! It's like surfing.
And if you can step back in observation mode and not get caught up in the phonetic craziness of the energy, because it's there, it's like a spinning top. You can get caught up in it and go to weird places, different places, and get thrown left and right, or you can just step back and observe that.
Which is always a good thing.
Yeah, and I did that with a girl I think I mentioned last time who hit the bumper of my truck. And
tell everybody what you did with the energy.
Well, what happened with the energy?
This is a great story.
I went to visit my doggies last week or the weekend before, and I went to get gasoline. I think I told the story last week. And anyway, I was going to a gas pump because the gas was $3.89 a gallon. And I backed up because no one was behind me. But in my blind spot, there was a Jeep, I guess, with this girl. I hear bang. And I'm like, what was that? And I come out, and this girl who's my blind spot had a Jeep with a hoist on the front of it. And I pulled up, I held up for my truck. And she was about 23 years old. She got out of her Jeep, and she goes, oh, wow. She goes, that reminds me, I was going to clean my bumper today. I said, well, you'll do more than cleaning it. Anyway, I let her go. She's a vet tech, and I had the feeling of let her just do her thing and let it be. And that's what I did. And then in the store, I was in line getting water, and she's getting water too. She said, let me get that for you. I said, thank you, it's very kind. I said, but look at my eyes, and I want you to know that there was an opportunity here, that if you hit somebody else, it would be a different story. But I want you to take this opportunity to know that you cannot be that close to someone, no matter if you're parked up there, you're in a driveway, in a freeway, highway, you cannot be that. You have to go car distance away. Please do that. So I said, and I don't think she heard me, but that was it. And I knew I had to do that. So this weekend, I was going to get my car fixed, the bumper, and
Spirit just said to me, Kelly, I didn't tell you this the other day. I was sitting down to write my book, which I haven't done in a while. And I opened up my laptop, which I haven't used. And I opened it up and I'm waiting for something to happen. And I was like, oh, what do I do now? And I heard Spirit right above me say, well, it would help if you turn it on. I turned it on. So this weekend was very much the same. I'm driving, all of a sudden I heard, go into there. And it was the Ford dealership. And I went right inside and I parked my truck. And the man's name, Alan, who was my father's name. And he sold me my truck 2 years ago with this thing. And I told him I had a problem with the bumper and you know, I have 2 doggies, they have to fit. And I said, but I turned and there was this truck car thing. And he goes, well, there's that. And I said, yeah, what's that? Could I trade mine in for that? And he goes, you could. To make a long story short, I traded in my one truck for this other one that would accommodate my doggies. And the car was one of these, it was a Maverick truck, small and hybrid. And he said, this is the hottest car on the market. He goes, I have one on order. It's not coming until October. He goes, this just came here. It'll be gone in like 2 hours. And I said, I think if we can work it out on a certain amount of money, which was a great deal, we can do it. He goes, let me see. And he said, we are able to do that because you're local and you live, you know, you've been here before. We're going to do that for you. And you must have some spiritual qualities to you. I said, why would you say that? He goes, because things that don't happen like this to regular people. And he goes, I said, well, it's me. This is how I roll. You're just guided me here. And he goes, I guess so. What do you do for a living? And then I told him, he goes, oh, okay. Wow. Oh, yeah, I remember you. He goes, I remember your face now. And then he said, I said, and what color is that color? I've never seen that. He said, oh, that color is called Area 51.
That's like the best part.
Area 51. He goes,
God, only you could have a car with that color.
Imagine the shirt, actually.
Wow. That's
Isn't
amazing.
That, that was this weekend.
Such a good story.
Thank you from it was such Spirit gave me that, and
I
got that because I let that girl. You know, I just let that happen, and it was just a payback of that positivity. And
well, you said something interesting to me that caught my attention too. You said the guy's name was Alan. That was your dad's name.
My dad's name.
When I got my car, the man that waited on me and sold me my car, his name was Lou, L-U, which was my mother's name. I said, how could that possibly be? Is that your real name? I thought it was like, and he said, yes.
We're never alone.
Oh, they never alone.
They influence us so much. It's so
right. Oh, that's so true, James. Oh my gosh. Well, should I do a little more astrology?
Yeah, well, yeah. Let's hear about what's going on.
Okay, so we have a full moon coming up. So we have a full moon on August 11th. So I want everybody to pay attention to this full moon on August 11th. Now I'm going to talk about it in a Vedic astrology way.
That's 2 days.
Yep, it's in today is the 3 days. Yeah, 3 days from now. That will be the Thursday. Thursday, August 11th is a big full moon, and it's a super moon. And it's the last of the supermoons, James. There have been 4 in a row, and this is the last one, which means it's really close to Earth, and it's really a big full moon.
Full moon like that next to Lionsgate.
Yeah, it's very, very powerful. And this one, James, is very intense because it's actually in Capricorn, if I go by Vedic astrology. Also, though, any which way I look at it, it makes it very intense because it conjuncts, which means it's next to Saturn, and it squares Uranus. So this is a powerful full moon. So this is what it means. The meaning here is it means to adapt to restrictive changes and unexpected restrictions. So I think the key is adaptation. You want to be able to adapt. You want to be able to pivot, adapt.
Can you go back and say that again? Adapt.
Yes, I sure can, because this is such an important thing. The meaning is to adapt to restrictive changes and unexpected restrictions. And the reason that is because it's conjunct Saturn. Saturn is the taskmaster. I mean, it's intense, Saturn. And it's squaring Uranus. So these are unexpected changes. This is
Uranus is really a quick and volatile. And it's right?
Yes. And again, what is this month about? This month is all about adapting to change and riding the wave and all of these things. It's a powerful, powerful time. You know, so I think on that day, that full moon day, it's a great day to go inward, maybe journal, take a good long bath, and give yourself a pat on the back for being here. Give yourself a lot of love, because I think everybody needs a lot of love to love themselves.
And surviving this transformational period, which is really not
Yes.
easy. So everybody should really honor yourselves. Your
Honor
sacred
yourself.
souls, your sacred souls. And
Right.
live
And,
accordingly.
and in fact, I will tell you this, James. I'll tell you what this full moon would be about. And it's ironically, it's our topic, which is tonight about forgiveness. If you could go into your heart, if everybody can go into their heart and let go of, if they can, of things that have caused them anger or things that are holding them back, because really what forgiveness is all about, letting go of anger.
So
That's,
Kelly, let me
go ahead.
interrupt you as I get
Please.
inspired by your words.
Please.
So so forgiveness is releasing restrictions to the heart.
That's it. That's exactly it. That's
so here
it.
we are. What a great moment, opportunity.
I have chills when you said that. Yeah.
Right? We
Mhm.
restrict the heart. We want to open that heart up. And
Yeah.
the only thing bad about restricting the heart, it holds back that life force. It holds back our breathing.
It holds back good things.
Good things. It's true. And, I'll never forget when I was doing a reading for, I've told the story before here. These parents lost their son, and it was a drunk driver. And the son said, I forgive the driver. And the driver lived, the kid died. And the parents couldn't do it. And the kid said, Mom, Dad, you have to forgive him, because the rest of your life will really be affected if you don't forgive this man. That energy is going to hold you back from other positive things coming into your life.
That's it. That's
And
it.
I've heard
And you
that
heard that from Spirit.
many times, many times. It limits us. It puts a wall up. It blocks that. It restricts life from us. And it can go from generation to generation, by the way, folks.
Yeah.
If you can forgive this person, it can affect your kids.
We go 13 generations back and 13 going forward. I mean, there's that old family, the Hatfields and the McCoys, if you can remember that, right? I mean, all about traumas. It just kept going, and anger and anger and anger. And anger leads to heart attacks.
True. Tammy
Cancer.
Barrett, if you love the Lord, remember he forgives, and he wants us to do the same. And you are the Lord. We're all the Lord.
Right. Oh, James, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that, because it's so important. I mean, it's just all about letting go if you can, because forgiveness doesn't necessarily mean you erase the past, or
you
like,
don't
or
condone it.
you don't,
You
right.
don't-
Or you don't forget what happened. It doesn't mean that the other person is going to even change their behavior. You can't control that. All it means is that you're letting go of the anger and the pain so you can move on to a better place.
Yeah, because Karen Abercrombie says, what about if people continue to do you wrong? Well, Karen, don't have them in your life. But boundaries, discover boundaries. You got to honor yourself. Like, that's not good for me. Even if it's family, that's not working for me. You're disrespecting me. And that's it. But if you want to play the same old story, because the payoff is pain, you see. Everybody has a story. And there's, what is your story? What's the payoff? It can be victim, it can be pain. And that's what I know about until I want to release it and let it go.
And wouldn't you agree that when we come to Earth, you sign up for Earth 101. The classes are going to be, you're going to be betrayed. Your heart's going to get broken. You're going to be hurt. And here's the thing about all that. The highest thing you can do for your soul's growth is to forgive.
It's true.
That's it, to forgive everything, because we choose a lot of things before we come in. And then along with that is what you said, James. Along the way, you would set boundaries. Now, just because you set boundaries doesn't mean somebody's not going to pummel through them. You'll have to set them again. It's a constant. Forgiveness is a constant. It's a constant theme in my head. And forgiveness for anything that I've done and anything that other people have done, right?
Yeah, and I find that with forgiveness also, I talked about this today on my TikTok on the soul care, that, really it is, in order to forgive, it's seeing that, like we just saw, God light, that divine in each person. And there are some people, as Kelly taught me this, there are some people that don't get it. They're at a certain level, and you got to accept them for who they are, whether it's a family member, a partner, a family, a child, a friend, a worker, coworker. Everybody's at a certain level, and it doesn't, because you have an insight to something that you're right and they're wrong. Everybody's right at the level that they're at, but it doesn't mean that you can judge them. They're at, all they know is what they know. Some people are limited, and some people won't get what you do. There are some people like, I'm a spiritual medium, and I want to give them a message. Let me give this to them. So they're not ready to hear it.
Oh no.
So they're not ready. You got to honor them in the place that they're at and forgive them. I never forget, there's a person I had a hard time with. I'm not going to go into who this was, But I had a hard time forgiving this person until I got a spirit came through and said, let me show you their childhood. And their childhood, that person was abandoned as a baby. And I found out that, wow, that poor person didn't know anything else but abandonment. So always looking out to get something and grab something and be something. And that's where that child came from. That boy came from that upbringing. And I didn't know that about that person. So Spirit showed me their background. They didn't know any better. So when you have a hard time with someone, remember they have a history. And you're really have to look back their background, their history, their childhood, what they know and what they don't know. You know, there are going to be people that know a lot more than us and a lot less than us. Just do it. It's the right thing to do. We want to be forgiven. If we did something was miscommunicated, or the people didn't understand where we're coming from, it was like, wait, no, I didn't mean it that way. Or no, we would want to have them give us the chance, right? We should do the same for them.
Absolutely. I had a client who sent me an email today. Actually, I went to my assistant, and it was a really important one. And I thought, she said to me, she said, Kellee, I hope you and James could answer this question for me. And she said, so basically, she said, my husband's death was complicated. And I had a session with her. I'm not even sure when it was, 2 or 3 weeks ago, perhaps. She said, I've been so confused since he passed. And she was very, very angry. And I'll tell you why she was angry. Her husband passed away. He was actually a good guy, but he got involved with drugs and alcohol, and he left her with three small children. And so she's very angry. Now, he's only passed, if anything, maybe a month ago, or maybe a month and a half.
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about? So the thing is, first of all, you're in a stage of grief. That there's anger that comes along with this stage of grief. Plus, if somebody passes that way, of course you'd be angry. But at some point,
it's okay.
It's okay to be angry. It would make sense. I'd be furious.
Yeah,
I'd be furious.
Action. It's not. You have to feel it. You got to go through it. You got to sit with it, and it's going to be like that for a little while.
It's going to be that way, and that's the point, James. It's going to be that way for some period of time. It might be 20 years. I mean, it just may be.
Yeah, it's a hard one. I went through a 23-year thing about forgiveness with someone. It took a long time, but. Yeah. Thank God.
And that's okay, right? It's okay. If it's 20 years, it's okay.
At least you did it. The most important things, and the most important that you're aware of it. So this person that asked this question, they're aware. They're aware. They know that maybe I should be this way. At least they have that awareness, and that's number one is the awareness.
And talk about the other side with that. So, like her husband, what would he be feeling right now?
Well, her husband would be feeling everything that she would be thinking and feeling and knowing what she's thinking. And he would have it right in front of him because he'd feel it. When we think of something, that's thoughts. Thoughts are sent out. And the spirit live in a mental world. So they visually, physically, if you will, feel, sense, become part of those thought forms. So he feels her anger. He feels her frustration. He feels that upsetment. And I'm sure he's probably saying, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You know, I didn't mean it that way. Or so, you know, it's a transformational time for both of them. So he'd probably be in a certain space. I'm not going to say stuck, but I'm going to say with a mindset of, I'm sorry, please forgive me. I apologize. And he'd be with her all the time, trying to influence her and let her know he's sorry. And if we sit there in that space of, I can't stand that he did this, it'll block certain things. Right. But, you know, you have to go through it. But he's probably around. I'm sure he's around just saying he's sorry. And there's a life for you to do. And there's no time on the other side. So remember, they're stuck in a mindset for a bit. And the number one, this is an interesting one. I find with the spirit world, we on the earth, and this happens a lot with suicides too, if we can forgive the act and forgive it and say, well, I forgive you. I know you weren't, you know, I didn't really mean to hurt me this way or do this certain thing. I know you can deal with certain things. You decided to end it. If we can forgive them, I find that they, in the spirit world, it's easier for them to forgive themselves.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So true. So true.
So true. Gosh.
I remember I was looking this tonight, some stuff up, and a couple things came up which I wanted to talk about, which was Nelson Mandela when he was in prison for 27 years. And he found it easier to forgive those people who locked him up than not. And he said that was what I had to do, you know, whether it's so a whole bunch of things I have here about we can learn from transformational leaders such as Nelson Mandela, who spent 27 years in prison. During that time, he was isolated in terrible conditions. After being released in 1990, he could have stayed angry at those who had wrongfully imprisoned him. Instead, he chose to forgive them and accept what happened. By releasing the hurt and focusing on a brighter future, he was able to achieve true freedom.
Wow. Wow. True freedom.
True freedom, because that
Yes.
mindset, you see,
Yes.
that we can control.
Oh, that's beautiful and so true. Gosh.
So true.
Wow. I mean, one of the things that there are a lot of things you can do about learning how to let go of or how to forgive, actually. But the first thing is making a commitment to letting it go. It's like this is not just a second thing or even in a day, but it's something that you do over time. And you start the process with yourself. How do I feel about letting go of what this person did or who this person was? And then you let it slowly, it starts to sink in. And at some point down the road, it becomes a normal thing where you let go. What do you think of that,
Yeah,
James? Like a
it's
commitment to it. It's a
yeah,
process.
it's a process. And I think there's 7 steps of true forgiveness. Number
Okay.
1, acknowledge the hurt. Acknowledge
Oh, for sure.
real, it happened, and
Yeah.
acknowledge it. You can't that exactly happened.
Yeah.
Step 2, consider how the hurt and pain has affected you.
Mhm.
And in that, I like to say, and how will it affect you if you hold on to that? So for me, to hold on to that hurt and that energy, it's like toxic, and you're bringing that into your body, your energetic body, your light body,
Yep.
your mental self, your spiritual self, your emotional self. You're bringing all that toxicity, and you're giving it life. You don't want to do
Yes.
that. You don't want to do
No.
that. 3, accept that you cannot change. You cannot change what happened. You cannot change a person, perhaps. The thing you can, or you control, you can't control another person or a situation. You can control how you respond to something. Okay. Step 4, determine whether or not you will forgive or not, and in the time you will, like you said. Step 5, repair. Step 6, learn. Step 7, forgive.
And
So it's a
forgive.
process to learn, to understand. It's a growth process. It's
Yeah.
transformational.
It's transformational.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
transformational. And nobody has to be like you. You just got to be the best you can possibly be. You have to be God on earth. You have to be the divine light on
Yeah.
earth. And you got to be that great ambassador. Like I often say when I teach these class, that mediums are ambassadors to the spirit. Well, we're all ambassadors, and those that are on this website now, you're ambassadors to that light, to the
Right.
oneness, that truth, the divine light within everyone, and that's the responsibility. And Kellee and I have reminded you now that that's your responsibility. That you
Yes.
know better. So now, when it's your time to pass over and you have a life
Mhm.
review, don't say to your guides that didn't know anything about forgiveness or this.
Right.
Yes, because you tuned into Both Sides Now Beyond with Kellee and James. And
You remember watching that show.
yes, Lionsgate, they reminded you.
Right, exactly. Well, it's funny that it happens to be the Lionsgate because today is a great day to manifest. And it doesn't mean that you have to manifest physical things. Also, you can manifest, I'm ready to let it go now. I'm ready to live my life. Because when you forgive, forgiveness is transformational with what you just said. It will change your life when you let go of pain and hurt and suffering and all. And listen, I'm not saying this is easy. I have been screwed over. You've been screwed over, right, James? I mean, we've been betrayed. Oh my God, please. And then we made it out.
And I wrote that some notes too, Kellee, which is what you're saying too. And they gave me this right now. I was sitting here writing a letter or writing, like Kellee said, journaling this week, writing about the hurt, the experience of it, and why did it hurt you. Then the middle ground of where you are now, go the past, what the hurt, when that person did that or whatever happened, and now you feel now. And the next page or the next part of the journal should be your future. If you can forgive that person or that situation, what would your future look like? How would you feel? And I know from forgiveness, it brings a lightness to being. It brings
Yes.
a lightness of yourself.
Yes.
It really
Yes.
does.
And you forgive for yourself. You forgive so you can move on. And the other side, what happens to the person that did you wrong, the person that, believe me, a lot of them are out there. They have to do their own life review.
They have to their own life review, and we have to. No one's better than anybody else. We're all connected. We're all one.
Right.
So it's funny. People talk about group souls, and And we come back here, we evolve with ourselves, but we're evolving with our group souls, and we're evolving with the whole planet. We're all here together, we're all connected. I'll never forget this. And I may have spoken about this before in this show. It was just such a pivotal moment in my life as a medium when I was doing a private reading years ago, and I forget who it was for. I think for a girl, and her grandmother or aunt came through, and she asked, "What was your transformational period? What was it like when you first got over there?" And she said, "Well, I don't know. It was just, I think she was a Hungarian lady or a Russian lady." And she said, "It was all very strange. It was very odd. It was very natural, very real. I saw my father and my brother and my sister, and it was very, very interesting. And I met my guides," she said. And she said, this lovely man, she described the guide, this one guy, and the guide took her on a little journey. And the journey, she said, she went to was like, she said, it was like kind of a hospital, I guess you would say. And she described it, and she didn't understand what's going on, but the guide kept on insisting, "You have to come here with me because this person as a soul has been waiting for you." Wait, yeah, this one. So she walks with it, and there's this room, and there's a bed, and there's a soul lying on the bed asleep. And the guide says to this lady, this is a true story. The guide says to the lady, "You know this man. He won't wake up until you forgive him." And she looked, and that was a Nazi soldier that killed her.
Oh my goodness.
And she knew she had to forgive because she didn't want to be in his space of asleep. She knew that she had it's almost like the prince, the kiss of the
It's
prince.
just thinking that, yes.
And it's almost that feeling of, because we're connected, that person's so low, listen, we don't know why people do certain things in those political times. Who knows what, I mean, I've done a lot of Nazi World War II stories and workshops in Germany. I've done a whole bunch of different things have come through. But she said in that moment, she said, it was the right thing to do. She goes, I never would have thought that. She goes, but I knew you have to be benevolent. This was the right thing to do. And she told her relative, make sure you wake up everyone you know with a smile or a good word. That's what and she was very strong. She goes, that's what I'm telling you. Wake up everyone you know while you're still alive. It'll make a
While you're
difference.
still alive. That's so true.
It'll make a difference in your life, she said.
Wow. Wow, that's really a powerful story.
Very.
Oh my gosh. Well, thinking of that story, it could be too that the roles were reversed this lifetime or another lifetime. So let's talk about that.
So certainly. So in another lifetime, you could have killed someone. We switch roles up. So each lifetime we have to learn both sides of the equation, if you will. Yeah. So how to forgive, how to be forgiven. A lot of people can't be forgiven. They don't want to be forgiven. Again, that story, if you will, with the payoff. And that's what we know, maybe, is victimization and so forth. So
right. And how long do you want to be a victim?
Yeah, how long?
I mean, it's victim consciousness is.
It gets boring.
It just does. I mean,
there have been people. I let people go from my life because there were people in my life that are just holding on. Nothing was happening. They weren't doing things in life. Just, oh, poor pitiful me. And after a while, it got so boring. I'm like, we're here to live life. And I'm like, Kelly, you know this. And I said, bye bye. And I just think, and so
next.
What happened? Someone said, oh, they're gone. What about what? Next, another bus in 5 minutes. Next, because life is too short. You can't. You have to really live life fully. This is a gift. We're given a gift here, and we can't slap God in the face. We come here for a mission, and we can't abort the mission. A lot of people want to leave the mission. They get to the other side. Oh my God, how silly was I?
Right.
I was such a great design. Why did I mess it up? My human mind. I got to get out of that. Why do I have to now go back and do it all over again, and try to relearn it?
Oh my gosh, I don't want to do that either. I have to say, here's a note here from somebody that's very sweet, honey. From oh my gosh, I missed it now. But he was from Singapore, and he wanted to say that he just loves you. Oh, way fun. Hello from Singapore. I watched you on Larry King's show back in 1997.
Wow. Well, thank you. My goodness, thank you. Very wow.
Wasn't that when your first book came out, Talking to Heaven?
My first appearance was.
Wait.
I remember December 9th, 1997, but yeah.
But I remember, I love that book. It's like one of my favorite all-time books. But I'll never forget, it was during 2020 when I was rereading your book, and I saw, oh my gosh, you had written about 2020 in 1997.
That's
you actually wrote about
it. Pandemic or a health plague or something.
Yep.
right. That's right.
which
You
was,
called me up and mentioned that to me. I was like,
oh,
what?
I couldn't believe it. It's
There
just
it is.
quite phenomenal. I thought it was quite phenomenal.
Here's what
Wow.
I'd like to answer, Kelly. It's
Okay.
about how can I forgive my mother? Hold on. Is it one? I can't remember right now. It says, how can I forgive my mother for abandoning her children and her family with
It's a
something? Here it
tough one.
is. Susie Everett, how do I forgive my mother who chose to give up on her life and her children?
It's a really hard one, Susie. I guess we would use the lens of what was your mother going through? What was her trauma? We have to, why did you choose that mother? I'd ask that question because we choose our parents. What was it about? Maybe you needed her empathy. Maybe you needed her or her, I don't know, you needed the ability to forgive. Maybe that's why you chose that mother. Because forgiveness is one of the biggest keys things that you will learn in life if you can do it. But that's a tough one, Susie. That's a really tough one. I bet you've been a wonderful mother and a wonderful grandmother and a wonderful animal person. And maybe because you had that experience.
And it's also, so I think for Susie, Kelly, that what my mother who chose to give up on her life, her mother didn't love herself. So
Yeah.
how could a mother love other people or the children? And if she doesn't love herself, she has nothing to give. She doesn't feel worthy of self. So how's she going to feel worthy of her children and her family? She didn't know any better. She didn't know any better. And that's what I'm saying. We never know people's limitations, where they're at. She didn't love herself. She didn't know anything about herself. So, many times I've had spirit come through, a mother or father, and they said, I'm so sorry I couldn't love you. I didn't tell you I loved you more often. And the reason why I was not taught how to love. So how could I love you if I didn't know anything about love? How could I teach you that? And that happens. And the same thing with her. I forgive her. Yeah.
And you might be the one in the family that comes along to break the cycle.
To break the genetic cycle.
The genetic cycle.
The patterns. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Sandra K. Adkins says, always forgive no matter what you encounter. Life will return you what you give out. Yes, it will, Sid.
I'm going to say transformational. I read this today. Say transformational leadership requires a great deal of compassion. We just remember that our team members are human and it takes time to adapt to change, which means that they may make some mistakes and perhaps even say or do things that will upset us. This is why it's important to know when to forgive past wrongdoings in an effort to create a brighter future for your team and your family. It's interesting. So
it is. Yeah. Tammy Musto says, I totally need this. I'm not letting go of how upset I am at my sister-in-law since my brother passed at home. She did nothing to help save him. Now that's a tough one, Tammy. Again, that you may not forgive today or tomorrow. You may not be able to let that go today or tomorrow, or maybe a year from now. Something happens later on. All of a sudden the door opens up to forgiveness. I mean, just keep an open mind with that. But I get it.
And he chose
her. Yeah.
For some reason, he had to have that experience. So that was his soul's journey. Every soul has their journey. It's their road. I just talked to Kelly about to say, and someone else, you cannot live another person's life for them. They got to go through their ups and downs.
We talked about that today.
We talked about today. You just can't, as hard as it's going to be, and it's going to be really hard when you see family members going through addictions or relationships or problems, and you want to help them, and they don't hear you. And
it's so tough.
You can't live another loved one's life for them. It's even someone like, if you, in my case, divorced, or is it, I feel bad, but that was the journey that, I had to go through. I did nothing bad. I know I'm very proud of life I lived. And, people do things for different reasons. You never know what's behind it. So I think the biggest thing is just to forgive. I want to read this too. To clarify, forgiveness is not about condoning other people's hurtful behavior. It is about developing compassion and accepting others for being imperfect, while at the same time honoring our boundaries and protecting ourselves. It's about knowing that blaming others will never solve the problem or lead to inner peace. We must free ourselves from our own negative victim story of what we believe happened to us. And we must realize that the other person's behavior likely had nothing to do with us. They were probably feeling some threat or danger, consciously or unconsciously, which activated their survival instincts and inhibited them from doing the right thing.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Wow.
So,
Nanette, listen to this one. Nanette Rogers Kennedy says, Mark Twain, this is a Mark Twain quote, and I love Mark Twain. Forgiveness is the fragrance the violet sheds on the heel that has crushed it.
I read that earlier.
Oh, that's a good one.
And I remember I wrote about forgiveness in a book of mine. I'm
Well, let's see.
I think I did a whole thing on. I'm sure.
Oh.
Your new life.
Julia Daniker, she says, it's so hard. I've had so many things that have happened and forgiveness seems impossible. I understand that, Julia. It starts to feel that it's impossible. In actuality, start to open up the door. Start to open the door, because in actuality, things can't, you'd be surprised at some of the things you can let go of.
And you don't want to attach yourself to that.
You don't want to attach
You're
yourself.
bigger than that. You are a bigger person. You're a bigger being than that. I'm just turn to this. This is my book called Unfinished Business. And there's it's not forgiveness. It's chapter 10 called Transcendence. And I started off by teach this triple truth to all. A generous heart, kind speech, and a life of service and compassion are the things which renew humanity. Buddha.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yes. That's a good one.
You don't live from your past. You create every single day. Live in the moment. Every day is a brand new day. So you want to be able to know that everything. Don't hinder your growth. And if you can't forgive, it really hinders your growth.
Oh, it absolutely does.
It holds you back.
Oh, it totally holds you back. So Beth Glomsky asks a good question. She says, how does forgiving coincide with family members who are narcissistic?
Oh, Kelly, there you go. Come on.
Okay, so here we go. So can we forgive and still choose whether we want these people in our life? Okay, so Beth, you're speaking my language. I mean, come on. I mean, narcissism. Oh my God. I've got boatfuls of stories about that. Especially as a therapist too, but just as in my own life, I had to really let all of that go, actually. And I've got to the point where it's almost comical to look at how negative or how narcissist they are. It's just unbelievable. But I cut them out of my life.
You cut the cord. You cut the cord.
Yeah, out of my life. Beth, out of my life. I don't care who it is. Gone.
Yeah, same. Let go.
Yeah.
Let go. Yeah. I'm going to read something from my book, Healing Grief, if you don't mind, Kelly.
Oh, please. It's a great book.
Great book.
Great book.
I'm actually going to do a course on it this year. Some of the course in my book.
Fabulous.
Yeah. So this is about transformation, of course, and healing guidelines, healing reminders. Number one, in order to move beyond our grief, sorrow, and not to be able to forgive and feel reconnected to your true self, you'll have to change some of your negative attitudes about life into ones of joy and happiness. This is the only way you'll be able to make the most of your future experiences. I hope the ideas and affirmations listed below will help you gain the inspiration and encouragement that I have received. Number one, love never dies. Number two, fear is an illusion, only love is real. 3, count every moment as a blessing. 4, tears are cleansing the hurt and opening my heart to a happier future. 5, as I release my grief, all fear, bitterness, and pain dissolve from around my heart, and I discover the joy of life. From every drop of rain, a rainbow is formed.
Oh, love it.
Today's losses are tomorrow's gains. A wise person never stops learning. Pretty good stuff.
Really good stuff.
I value every moment with the ones I love. I let them know what's in my heart, and I let them know when they've hurt my heart. I can make a choice to stay centered in the midst of confusion. Let me repeat that one for the time we're living in. I can make a choice to stay centered in the midst of confusion. 13, Earth is a schoolroom and we are the students. We all take different courses and graduate at different times.
Oh, that's perfect.
Make an effort to take a part in the dance of life. 16, it is good to share a tear, a laugh, a sigh with a friend. We're both being healed in our love.
Those are great ones. Great ones. Wow. Christine Mahoney, she says, my love never wavered, but is that enough to get him through? So let me just make a comment about that.
What does that mean?
What she's talking about is her husband had died and she was really angry because he did a lot of things that he shouldn't have done. Okay, let me just say this. I don't care. You can love somebody and love somebody and love somebody, and sometimes that's just not enough. And you can give them all your blood and it's not enough. They have to actually assume responsibility, honey. And that's really what happened there. He didn't. So that's a tough one.
And Connie, I blame myself for letting stuff happen. Don't do that to yourself. Please don't.
No.
Be compassionate. You're a sensitive being. We're here to learn. And part of learning is we're going to fail some tests. I got some D's in school sometimes. I failed algebra 10 times. I couldn't do it.
Oh my God. Oh my gosh, James. I failed geometry. I
Yeah,
failed.
that's
I
right.
failed sewing. I failed sewing. I'm to this day. I'm like, oh no, get that away from me.
And you get, as kids in school,
Yeah,
we compare ourselves to other kids. It's like, and now that you're older, to look back, you can because we're all so unique. We're different, and the really the food for the soul is love, compassion, it's forgiveness, it's connection, it's heart work. It's heart work is what it
it's
is.
heart work. Oh no,
Yeah.
this is a good one. Donna Hannon says, I have had a hard time forgiving myself for past
Yeah.
and current mistakes. Okay. Everything has to start with yourself. Get forgiving yourself for everything that you have gone through. I mean, it's life is tough. This is a tough school. You have to have that compassion. You have to have compassion for what you've gone through. You have
That,
to.
that should be in your tool belt.
It should
Compassion,
absolutely.
forgiveness, joy.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
really should be.
empathy, all of the
Empathy,
things. Oh
courage,
my God, courage. Oh,
I,
you know
I
what?
remember this weekend I was with some people and and we were talking about a question a friend asked and he said, "What about we put the good things out there to the universe like the rippling effect?" He goes, "Yeah, and we put it out there. What about if it affects somebody? Are we responsible for how it affects them?" And I said, "No, no, you're not. You're responsible for the originator of that thought, of that beginning of that. The source of it is you, and it's the intent." Behind the thought. And that's true in all of our lives. It's the intent behind. You can say, I forgive somebody. You have to really have the intention that you truly forgive them or you truly love them. There's got to be an intention behind it of truth.
Right, right. Marcella Lily Harris, she says, my husband is physically abusive. Help. So that, honey, you really do need some help with. That's physical abuse is
Not a good thing.
it's awful, and you have to get some help, and you have to make a plan. So you need to, you need to know where to go, who to contact. You can go online. There are a lot of resources to help you with that
You need
one.
to have a safe house. You need to have
A
someone on your
safe house. That's it.
you
That's
need
it.
to.
Mhm.
You have to. I grew up with that around me. I grew up with it. I still around me in certain spaces. There was abuse going on. I just can't. You have to have a way out.
You have to
I
have a
can't.
way out. It's a tough one, but you can
Tough.
do it. It's just a tough one. You can do it. Um,
There was also Elizabeth Arla Carras says you can't forgive unless is accountability. I don't understand that because again,
yeah.
that person might not be aware that they should be accountable. You hold them accountability; they might not know what you're talking about. So it's you.
Exactly. And that's a great point to make.
Yeah,
Because
you're
if they're unconscious, they're never going to get there. And you're going to be holding on to that. That person should do this. Yeah, he should, but he didn't. And he
like
doesn't have the ability to.
the girl that hit my truck with a bumper. She had no clue because I was going to clean that bumper today. She had no clue. There was no accountability. She didn't know
Wow.
any better. And when she
Right.
said that, and that's what the poor thing, she doesn't know anything about that. So what's the point?
Right.
She didn't
Right.
know any better.
Right. Oh, Donna Hannon, I really appreciate what she said. She's saying Al-Anon will help with the passing of an alcoholic. That's very true. It does help you process loss. Al-Anon is incredible with families. Yeah.
I've been in Al-Anon. I love Al-Anon, and yes, it's a great organization. And yeah, AA, Al-Anon. Yeah, really,
Yeah.
really helps. A lot of the work that I do, Kelly, is 12-step related, really, in some ways.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It
100%.
is. Yeah.
There you go. Elizabeth Wharton says, years ago, I left my ex money to start a business. I felt, there you go, forgive him for paying it back, but can't let go of the fact that he's living his life with vacations, homes, you mean things. He has things, right? And I'm at 50K. I have no legal recourse because the time has gone by. The woman he's with is who he was cheating on me with, leading a double life for several years and a child with her while we were still together. I'm struggling while he's living the dream with no accountability.
All right, Elizabeth or Eliza, let me just say something to that effect here. Let's see. I know about 100 people have had that story, and probably way more.
I know many.
It's an awful story. It's one that you just want to get furious mad. It's awful. It feels totally unfair. I get it. And then you get to a point where you go, it's funny how life works. You never know what's going to happen with this one and what's going to happen. And then you just have to get to a place of letting it go. Believe me, I have been that person. I have been as angry as you could possibly be.
Same.
And then you too. I mean, I couldn't believe.
I lost it.
Oh,
please.
That's right. That's right.
Everything gone because
Please.
I mean,
And
but it's taking up all that in your mind. It's
right.
taking up all that wonderful energy, that life force
Yeah.
you're giving it. And the person that cheated on you is getting double what they want. You're giving them more because you keep on thinking about it. So think
Yeah.
all the energy you're giving to that. Do the best thing.
It
Let it
the best thing I ever did was when I let go of all of that. Best thing
releasing
that ever
it.
happened.
Best thing I could ever
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Releasing it, let it
Now it
go.
didn't happen overnight,
And let go and
but
let go. Let go and let God.
yeah.
It is what it is, and that's all that it is. Don't
Yeah.
make it more than it is. Don't do that to yourself. You know
Yeah.
what? That person has to be accountable when they pass over that life review.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't let it harm you anymore. It's already
Yeah.
made harm. Don't make it worse. Let it go so you can live your life and have freedom and fun to
Right.
create more of your. And they're just
Right.
things, honey. They're just things. They're nice things, but you can have nicety within your heart too. I get niceties out of flowers. I mean, animals. They're things. So what
Totally.
are they doing to you? That's really
Yeah.
where the control issues are.
It's so funny because I went through so much of what she said, but if I hadn't gone through all that, I wouldn't even understand what the of
Exactly.
this. And I
Exactly.
made it
Nor
to the
me.
side of things, and this is the much better place to be.
Nor me. If I
Right?
hadn't got through the hurdles and the upsets and the
Right.
anger and the people that were screwing me left and right and Hollywood
Oh,
TV,
oh,
stealing TV shows and
oh.
books, and I've
Well,
had
you
books
went through
stolen
so
from me.
much too.
People know a lot of these people, spiritual teachers, who took from me, and there's a lot of stuff people know.
Oh, that's right.
You
That,
gotta let it go because that's
yeah.
why you're here. You gotta see what really matters. Matters in here is your heart, is your love that you give out,
And I
compassion.
love this. This is from Sandy Guerra, who happens to be one of the loves of my life, I have to say.
Oh,
It's my cousin Sandy, who I love so much. She said, also, maybe you have to grieve the hurt and then realize it's more important to keep that person in your life than let them go. That's true too, Sandy. It might be, honey. You're right. And I know you've done a lot of grieving.
it goes back to the expression that maybe people may remember. They heard this, and it was on the front of a card once, but it's a famous expression. The heart has to crack open to let more light through.
But James, isn't that the
Sometimes
truth?
crack open that
And
heart.
it
You have to go,
cracked
oh,
open. Okay.
oh,
Haven't you had your heart just busted up so much times where the pieces just went flying? And you're like, how do you survive that even, right? And somehow the pieces come back and they actually do come
makes you
back.
stronger. It
Makes
makes
you
you
stronger.
stronger.
Yes.
It
Oh
does.
my
You have to
God.
get the hurt and the
Oh,
pain to get the
here,
gain.
oh yeah, here's a good one. Ilrika Andren. She said, my mom passed away several years ago, but last year I found out that she lied to me, that my biological father wasn't my father. It was another one. And I also found out that I have a sister and a brother. Okay, that's a major betrayal. Major betrayal there. Um, that's a big one.
It's a big one.
I don't know what was going on with your mother at that, that in those days she had to lie. Those days were different than they are now. Wouldn't you agree, James?
Yes.
40s, 50s.
Yes, and you picked her for some reason.
Yeah.
Your sole contract,
Yeah.
you picked that situation.
Yeah.
And I have found out in some of the many messages I've done, many times somebody would come through with the adopted mother or father, and then they bring in the natural mother or father, and the natural mother or father would say to their son or daughter, you think all this time that I didn't want you, so I gave you away. It was really that you were worth more than I could give. You were worth. And we don't know what the situation was for your mother at that time. We don't know how she felt about herself and how about the family situation was. And she felt, I'm sure she's not happy now with how she lied. I'm sure that hurts her.
Right.
And you don't want her to be in pain. We don't want anyone to be in pain. It's as if like you have an animal that's caged in and they want to get out. It's bad. It's bad.
Right. Oh
You don't
my
want to do
God.
that at home. You don't want to
No.
don't
So
don't feed the pain.
exactly. Okay, so let's talk about it's this Wednesday, August 10th, James. You've
Wednesday,
got the
yes.
big thing. Oh my God, and I
do.
love Samantha Curry. Tell everybody about it because this is going to be fun. It's going to be
Samantha
great.
Curry is an incredible,
Yeah.
the best animal communicator I know in the world.
She's
She
terrific.
worked with San Diego Zoo. She's at so many things, books, dolphins and elephants and monkeys and all over the world. And her and I are putting together, we did it 3 or 4 years ago, an animal workshop, and it went really well. That we want to do it again and add more to it. So we're going to add 2 more live workshops, and it's everything from the former workshop, the former time we did 4 years ago, the animal workshop, and we're going to add 2 live workshop evenings. And the first one is Wednesday, August 10th. And then we're going to have another one after that within the week. And if you want to sign up, it's the jpschoolmysticalarts.com. And it's it's how to communicate with animals when they're still physically with you, how to become aware of them, what their needs are, the colors they'd like around them, the kind of food they'd like. I did it with Maisie when she was still in the body, and now I communicate with her now that she's left the body. So we're going to help you with techniques about learning, being aware of them living, how to communicate with them every day, and also when they passed out into the spiritual world. And I talk to Maisie all the time in my car. She comes to me and she's on my lap, and so we're going to teach you techniques. That's Wednesday. I'm very excited about it.
I think it's going to be so fun because when you get the two puppies back in the house, you think that you're going to see Maisie popping up constantly. She's going to be like, "Oh no, that my dad doesn't like that."
She's already been. The funny thing is last time my friend Marianne said, those puppies. Oh no, it was another friend of mine that and said, those puppies are already coming to you, and I felt that they're already saying, "When are we going home? When are we going?" Because they have no time, and they feel I'm going to visit them tomorrow. But they're not puppies anymore. They're teenagers.
They're teenagers. Oh, they're so cute. They're going to be so great.
They're going to be great, and Daddy's going to be probably, who knows, exhausted.
Yeah.
But
oh my God. Oh, Carolyn, this is so sweet. She says, "Thank you both for the insightful wisdom. This is changing me as you speak. I can literally feel it. I am forgiving the person I thought I would never forgive, and much more willing than I could have anticipated. Now I hope she will visit me from the other side." Oh, Carolyn. Oh, I have chills. She will. Yeah. She will. I have me too. I do too. She will. I think she was just waiting for that, honey. Because when you close down, when you're angry, the other side, Nick, I can't get a message as a medium. Can you, James? When somebody's closed down and angry, I can't do it. It's like, oh, forget about it. Not going to happen.
But yeah, if you can open up that space for them, you give them life again. You give yourself life and you give them life.
Yeah. Oh, Trisha Ford says, "I can't wait until Wednesday. I'm taking your animal course." Great, Trisha. You're going to love it.
So prepare for Wednesday, folks. If you're the animal course, just in the next couple of days, just find 15, 20 minutes to rest the mind and just meditate, go within, and just kind of connect with the animals you have. Just send out thoughts. I want to be with you. There's going to be an exercise during the course where I'm going to you're going to have your actual physical animals in the room, and we're going to give you cues to them, cues for them to do, and concentrate a certain way and watch them do it. It's going to be wild.
So fun. That's going to be a great class. Oh my gosh, everybody. And next week, we're going to be talking about how spirit communicates.
Yes, the different ways it communicates, different signs, the different ways for you to know when they're around you. Yeah.
That's going to be amazing.
And Kelly, don't you think now people are so more open to spirit communication that the spirit people can communicate in all different ways now because we've given them that space to be able to do that. When there's more belief, it opens up that space for everyone.
Oh yes, it's going to be a great show next week with all of that. And I am not on this Thursday. I'm taking off August, and I'm so sorry, everybody that's been writing to me. My schedule will be up for September and October, but it won't be up until the last week in August because I have a really busy month going on here, but I'm not working.
Book to do, and she's gonna.
Yeah, I've got my book. I've got a million things.
Kelly, you have family coming in. We need
True. Oh, I have to leave you with this. I have to tell you what August, my little 5.5-year-old nephew said. My grandson said to me today. He said, "Gigi."
His name is August. Everybody.
August is his name, and he said, Gigi. He calls me Gigi. Gigi, the only reason we're here on Earth is to love.
Wow.
Out of the mouth of babes.
Tell him the story, but the other time with August, was it 2 years ago when you said, "What do you do on the other side?"
I said, he was 4. It was actually about a year and a half ago. I said, "August, tell me what it's like." I said, "What's heaven like?" And he said, "Oh, Gigi, heaven is beautiful." I said, "What do you do in heaven?" He said, "I paint, and the colors are so beautiful. I paint in heaven." I said, "Are you going to paint while you're here?" He goes, "No, I'm going to do something else." And then he said, "And you know what, Gigi? When you come here, they take away all your memories." I said, "Why do they take away your memories, August?" He goes, "So you can create new memories."
That's great.
And that was it. And then he said, "We're here on Earth to love." This little Buddha, this guy is so cute. Yeah. Oh my God.
Thank you, everybody. We'll leave you with that because nothing you can top that with. Thanks, Renee. Thanks, Kelly.
Thanks, James. Bye, everybody.
Okay. Bye.
You've been listening to Both Sides Now and Beyond, featuring spiritual medium and master teacher James Van Praagh and spiritual medium and psychotherapist Kellee White.
That was great. Maybe we changed some lives.
And maybe opened up some minds.
Which way do I turn?
Right. I mean left.
The James and Kellee Show.